Hey fellas, it's 265 Chevy here. How y'all doing today? Today is July 13th. It's a Friday. Friday the 13th. Well, just want to show y'all some things. Picked up some of this. SP350 corrosion inhibitor. I guess y'all asked me, why 265 is showing me this? Well, because I need to use it, because turn this fan down. Well, what's going on here? Yep, fellas, I went and brought the motor and got some machine work done. I'm always looking to keep other things going, other projects that I have in mind, keep them somewhat rolling too. When I can get, I've been saving up for this, and I decided to bring it and get all the machine work done. So, what they did with the heads, these are some Camelback heads, and the head number is 3890462. Those are the casting of the heads, and all they are is a double hump heads. You don't have the bolt holes the old heads, 68 heads, 194s, 150 exhaust, I think it is. Got the screw-in studs already. They checked the valve spring pressure. That's good. So what they did, they actually replaced the seals. They milled it to clean up the head. They put 16 new valves in it. The valves were bad. They did the valve guides. These are the heads that were on this motor. This motor, talking to the owner, which y'all know as John. The best time this motor ever ran was 1250s in a quarter mile. So it's a 327. It's a large journal crank, which that was some good news, because I thought it was a small journal crank, but it's actually a large journal crank. It's a cast crank. You can see the little small line. Forge would be a big line, a wide. So this is cast. And the rods they ground them down to 40, and the mains are 30. So, kept the same pistons, cleaned them up, and the same rods. What he had to do, he dressed up the rods. One of them he had to regrind it to get it round again. So we did that. Also bought all the bearings, the rod bearings, the main bearings, the rings, cleavite to put the stuff together with, brand new oil pump, and complete gasket set. This is the old oil pan. Go look at the motor. Now on the motor, it's a 327, 68 motor. Like I said, large journal crank. What we did with that, everything's done on a budget here for this, because you got to remember what my goal is for this car right here, and the same thing for the 94 Firebird. It's just to be able to drive them and get them out of here. So this is one piece of this for the 68 Chevelle puzzle. It's one of the main pieces besides the transmission. The rear end's already been done. It's got 488 gears in that. It's way too big to go on the highway, but it wasn't made to, initially It wasn't made to do that, but you know, those gears will be changed. I'll build another rear end for this car later, but for the time being, what I needed to do, it can drive on the back streets with no problem. But this motor's 30 over. The only thing I did, so I could keep the same pistons, so I didn't have to buy new pistons and stuff like that, I had them hone it out. So the only problem with this motor, which is not really a problem, was the number 3 cylinder. And if y'all remember right, I don't know if y'all can see that, it still has some pitting in it, you know, all the pitting, especially like right here. I mean, to get all that out, it really needed to be bored. But for what I'm using this motor for, what's going to happen is that the ring gap is 30 over. So now instead of being 30 over, it's probably on this piston right here, it might be like 32 over, 33 over. And it's far enough up to travel that it'll have a little blow by out of this cylinder. All the rest of the cylinders might be like 431 or 432, somewhere around there. These are all good. Don't really have any pitting or anything in them. So the other 7 cylinders will carry this cylinder. I mean, this cylinder will make power. It'll have a little blow by in it or whatever. You know, I mean, this motor is not going to be used for racing or anything like that. Just like I said, this motor is just to be able to move the car in and out and stuff like that, and drive it around the block, or you know, after the fenders are on it, you know, bring it to a cruise run or whatever. I mean, it will do that. I probably couldn't even bring it down the track. You know, probably still, you know, draw out some good power or whatever. But you know, I mean, it's not a race motor or anything like that. It's just a motor for me to do what I want to do. But what I do like about it, since it's a 327 and it is a large journal crank, it's pretty much a 350 block. If I put a 350 crank in it or whatever, bored it out or whatever, really, I have a motor that can be made into a 350 if I wanted to. If I wanted a high revving 327, I can make it with this motor. So I mean, this motor is worth keeping now. Before I was going to get rid of it, but now I'm going to keep it. You know, you never know what I could do with it. You know, my wife always wants a Camaro, so you never know, that might be up in the card someday. So, you know, I have a motor to throw in it or whatever, and it'll be pretty much probably good to go. So, hold on, I'm going to put you down for a second. The back end of it, when John built it the first time, he put screw in rod bolts, you know, so that's all in it, and it has a windage tray and everything, so all that was kept in it. The machine shop did was put new cam bearings, use freeze out plugs, new all gallery plugs back and front, honed it out, and that's really about it on the motor part. You know, of course, washed it or whatever. They primed it with a gray primer, which I kind of like. I might just leave it. I might not even paint it. I might just throw it in the car just like that. It's a 2-piece rear main seal, which most of the old ones were. This is 1.5 roller rockers that were on the motor before. I think these are 3/8 studs. I don't think they 7/16. I think they 3/8. So this is the old cam. I got to get a cam. I got to get a double roller timing chain, and I'm gonna go over the hydraulic lifters. Even though you know you need the special oil to run all the time, but that's okay, you know. So I have the break-in oil already, and then I'll probably just use the same type of oil just to run it in the motor. I am going to probably going to put the motor on a stand and start it outside the Chevelle, just to have it running. I mean, I got, 650 double pumper, I got a torque manifold, I got a performer manifold, I got headers, I got everything that really needs to be done to throw this motor back together. Like I said, I'm missing a cam, the lifters, and the timing chain. So I need that. I ordered some tools, waiting on them to come in. The way my thinking is that I would like to build another motor eventually. My goal is to build a 383 stroker. That's my goal. I would like to do myself. A pretty radical one. But I've never ever really rebuilt a motor by myself. I mean, I've done a lot of, some motor work. I don't want to say a lot, with John, which is, my friend Buddy. And that's pretty much where I've learned anything that I've learned about motors. And so the way I look at it, that if I put this together, that I can learn what I need to learn, get the tools that I need on this one, and then eventually, I could, use either that block or this block or another block. I got 3 blocks over here. I got to check them out and stuff like that to see which one's the best one. But that's a 4-bolt main block. One over there is a 4-bolt main block. This is a 2-bolt main block. So, which really don't matter. I mean, a lot of people think that, 4-bolt main, 2-bolt, you have a 4-bolt. 4-bolt main's only good if you're going to be revving that motor so high that, you need that extra strength. 2 bolts is just as strong. If you go into 6,500 RPMs, and you're shifting gears are right about there, your 2-bolt main's just as good. I mean, you actually, 4 bolts, I'm not saying 2 other bolts ain't good, but, you really don't need it. I mean, those are really high performance motors that you're pushing to the limit, and you need every little strength that you can get. I mean, at one time in my life, I thought 4 bolts was the shit, I mean, oh, you got a 4-bolt main, oh, you're bad, but, learning what I know now, it is what it is. But, just got to keep on trying to move along on different things, try to get this things done. Like I said, I've been saving for this. So, when my wife even asked me that, why are you going to go rebuild a motor, you're not even ready to put it in? Well, it's because I had the money. And y'all know how that works, If you don't use it for what you wanted to use it for, it's going to be spent on something else. So, so I am happy this is a large journal crank. It's better to have, small journals. Is a little bit different. I mean, it's so, you can't put you can't put a 350. I mean, I can put a 350 crank in there, and I can make the stroke bigger and actually make a 350 motor if I want. But the rods are 210 and the mains are 2.45, on this. So the mains are 2.45, and I gotta, so I bought some calibers, some micrometers, some dial bore gauges, stuff like that, just to learn how to use them. Actually, you really don't need it. I could just use plastic gauge, take it, put it together, and bolt it and torque it and whatever, and that's it, and it's good to go. It'll do what I want to do. But I want to use this, like I said before, I want to use this motor as a learning experience. I want to get my feet wet. I want to kind of do the things right. I want to kind of check tolerances and clearances and stuff like that, which I would want to do on the other one. When I do get to it, I have an idea on how to do those kind of things. So I like to learn, I mean. So I mean, of course, these heads ain't really nothing. It's probably better to spend the money on an aftermarket head. You would get better performance or whatever. But this is what I had, so you know, for whatever it cost. Um, I didn't think these heads was in that bad a shape, but when I talked to the machine shop, they were a lot worse than what I thought. So yeah, they had to do some work to it. So this is what I had. So I said, yeah, just go ahead and do it. You know, I didn't want to put no aluminum heads on it or whatever. You know, it's just I just want to kind of keep it pretty basic, and those heads will last a long time. This motor right here will probably last a long time. You know, if nothing else ever happens, this Chevelle still be able to run, even with that number 3 cylinder the way it is. You know, so and that's about it, really, fellas. I mean, so this is part 1 of the 68 Chevelle. What I'm gonna do today, part of the day, I'm gonna take this CRC 350. It's a corrosion inhibitor. You normally people put like WD-40. I did that. I've been having these. I've been having this at home probably for at least a week now. I just haven't had a chance to video it. So of course, when I got it home, I put WD-40 on everything. But WD-40 only kind of lasts like a month. This stuff right here can last up to 2 years. So I can put this stuff on, bag it, and work on other things. You know, like I said, I got to keep on buying all the things that I need. You know, I'm gonna need a ring compressor. I'm gonna need, you know, all kind of different things I'm gonna need to put this motor together. So I'll buy that as it goes. That means this motor's not gonna be thrown together in a week or so. It's gonna be a little while before I get to it. But the way I like to do things is that when I'm ready to get to it, I have everything that I need to do it. You know, I don't have to wait. I don't have to, you know, I just order things as I, you know, next week when I get another check and I get some more money, I'll take a little bit on the side, see, buy, the ring compressor and the ring spreader and stuff like that, which will probably only be around 50 bucks. I'm gonna need, I want to dial in the cam. Now the kind of cam, this cam I think had like a 480 or 485 lift if I remember right. I'm gonna go with a 500 lift. I'm gonna go with a thumper cam, cam thumper. I want to hear a little noise. I want to hear a little rattle. I'm not going for speed. I'm not going for track or anything like that. Actually, I'm building this motor more for sound, to be honest with you. And the reason why is because it kind of gets my juices flowing. So I can crank it up. I can hear the rat-a-tat-tat, and it'll be thumping on the ground and stuff like that. And it'll be fun to hear. And, my neighbors might not like it, but with open headers, it'll be fun to hear. So that's what I'm going with. It's a thumper cam, comp cam, about a 500 lift. I think these springs are rated to about 515, 520. It's a 1.5 rocker. I'm not going to go that high. 500 would be good. I don't want to max out the valve train. There's no reason to. Take the pan, clean it up, repaint it, strip it or whatever. Probably spray it with my, with some nice looking paint and stuff like that. Well, really, that's about it, fellas. When I let y'all go, I'm gonna start spraying this stuff and rebagging it, and then what I'm gonna do, I lowered the Firebird the other day, did some work on my truck the other day, put in a new fuel filter, changed the air filter, and replaced one of the belts that were wrong. I replaced that. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take out the spark plugs, turn this over by hand, and take off the valve covers and get ready to put together this oiler so I can pre-oil it for the first time. And then after I see all the oil coming up to the top of the drivetrain, Then I'll seal the valve covers back up, and then start getting parts out the attic or whatever to start putting this motor and stuff back together. You know, so I mean, this is getting kind of close to be able to move. I got to start thinking about this one. And on this one, the front end's been redone, the rear end's been redone, all the rear bushings has been redone. So really, this car is not that far that it has to be able to move. It needs a motor, a transmission, which I'm probably just going to rebuild a 350 turbo transmission and throw that in there for the time being. It'll be the easiest way. So I don't have everything for the 4-speed, but I do have everything for the turbo 350. Redo a drive shaft, and then this thing will probably be able to move on its own power without no front end. But you know, I have all the parts to throw it back together, and that ain't nothing to. The majority of the work is actually getting the shit out the attic, to be honest with you, and it's just bolting it up. So you know, put some glass in it, and I want to do though is lower that lower the rear. I don't like that high ass look anymore. So get some other springs, lower the rear, get a little smaller tire to tuck it in or whatever, and kind of lower the car a little bit more like a stock car look. You know, prom, put the tail lights in, kind of just hardwire it up with a starter switch and stuff like that, and I think we're good to go. You know, but that's about it, fellas. So this is part 1 of the 68 Chevelle saga. I hope y'all excited for me as I am for myself. And there you go, Mike. I mean, told you eventually, sooner or later, I'm gonna get there. You know, little by little. And here you go. It's the first part. All right, fellas. Later.